As kids head back to school, pioneering psychiatrist and empathy expert Dr. Judith Orloff is introducing her first children's book to help us better recognize signs of sensitivity, spot bullying, and open up gentle conversations about empathy, emotions, and acceptance. We're glad to have you with us.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be on.
So the book is called The Highly Sensitive Rabbit. Tell us a bit about what's inside those pages.
This book is about a highly sensitive rabbit named Aurora who was sensitive, and people bullied her and they shamed her for being overly sensitive. And it's her journey and how she came into the gifts of her sensitivity and found friends and learned strategies to learn how to be a really powerful and empowered, sensitive rabbit.
That's so
it translates to children.
I love that. I love that. How do you spot a sensitive child?
A sensitive child is often labeled as overly sensitive, and they like to sometimes play by themselves or have imaginary friends, or they tend to get overstimulated and need quiet time. They often love nature and poetry and being by themselves in their creative playtime. So they're more inward than other children, but yet there could be extroverted, sensitive children and introverted.
An extroverted introvert, as they say. Yeah. And so it sounds like this book is geared towards children, but I think there's some lessons in there for adults as well. You know, a big issue, I think, for a lot of parents is knowing to spot the signs when their child is being bullied. So what are some of those things that parents should look out for in this new school year that maybe might be an indicator that their child is suffering at the hands of students or just being mean?
Well, unfortunately, sensitive children often get bullied or made fun of, and they're called crybabies. They're called overly sensitive. They don't feel like they belong anywhere with the other children, and so they're often scapegoated. And so what's essential for parents to do is to take action right away on bullying and enlist the help of the school and enlist all the help you can get to stop that bullying. The child needs an advocate, and often the sensitive children, they're too young. They can't do it on their own.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. And what about building self-esteem? So it sounds like Aurora, you know, she is made to become stronger and more empowered. What are some of the things that parents can do to empower their children, to instill more self-confidence, to develop talents and skills at a young age?
Yes, it's good to talk to them openly about their empathy and their abilities, because children might feel overwhelmed by other children's emotions, or they tend to get overwhelmed and overstimulated. So to talk to them openly and say, what can we do when you're feeling that way? It's important to take a few deep breaths and calm down, or take a walk and really identify what makes them feel overwrought and overwhelmed.
Yeah. I know that extracurricular activities are also very helpful for kids because they discover parts of themselves that maybe sets them above and beyond maybe some of their peers. So what is your advice for parents to try to find that thing that their child could potentially be really good at and to further empower them in their formative years?
That's important, because you have to talk to your child about what's important to them, not what's important to you necessarily, and see what they gravitate towards. I was a highly sensitive child, and I had two physician parents, and they didn't really get my sensitivity. You know, they were very linear and logical and rational, and so they didn't really, do that with me. And so it's important to get into an intuitive state, to listen intuitively to what your child wants and what your child needs. Your child might want to go for a walk and look at the flowers.
Yeah.
And the child doesn't necessarily like video games. So like Aurora in the book, she finds people who are peers, who understand her, and to really spend some time searching out those other children that might be sensitive too, that she could befriend.
Yeah, I love that. And finally, you've written a lot of books for adults, so why a children's book now?
Our world is in such a mess right now. I wanted to write a children's book to help the little ones in this time of stress, and to help them feel empowered, and all the sensitive children out there to know that they have gifts and they're beautiful gifts, and to learn how to deal with when they feel overwhelmed by whatever is happening outside. So now is the time, and I wanted to give people a lot of smiles.
I love that. Well, I think you're doing just that. Dr. Judith Orloff, thank you so much for joining us. The book is called The Highly Sensitive Rabbit. You can find it wherever fine books are sold. I want to thank you so much for joining us today.
You're very welcome.
We'll be back in 2 minutes.